4-year-old. Just like my mama used to tell me, no matter what somebody said, to know who I am. And it's like we as a people have forgotten that we're great. If somebody called me a bitch, King said something very profound last night. He used Tawana and Jen and Hanifa. He said, look at these ladies. These are ugly ladies. These are disgusting looking ladies. You know why it doesn't bother them? Because they know it's not true. Why does that concept fall on deaf ears when someone says something negative about us as a people? Why do we give it so much? Why do we give it so much power? What were we all talking about? Black. He gives so much power. He gave so much power to Daryl. I don't even know what Black's wife looks like. But he gave so much credence and so much power, it destroyed him. And it's destroying us as a people to constantly, when I say ignore it, I know it sounds simplistic, my loves. Beloveds, I know it sounds simplistic. Hanifa, I hear you. I hear you, my sister.
I want them to ask you a question.
I hear you. You're like, how can you not, Mr. O, I hear you. How can you ignore this? What would you have you do, my love? Just keep looking at it. What is the return on your investment for that?
Let's give them a chance to holler back at you, Anna.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Much love, Chef. Much love. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no. You're not gone.
I'm not going. I'm just saying much love for having me on. Much love to the chat and to the panel for listening.
Okay, thank you. Love is back at you.
Thank you for sharing.
Straight to your chest. Go ahead, y'all. You don't have to raise hands. This is your crib.
All right. First of all, is it Juana or Juana?
Thank you, beloved. It's Juana.
Juana.
It is Juana. Okay.
Juana means gift of God in Hebrew.
Juana.
So I just wanted to say thank you, and welcome, because I've said the same exact thing on different platforms to other people. Unfortunately, because I look the way I look, I always get attacked for it. I think you are 100% correct. There's not even any wiggle room. I'm not one that subscribes to you're black, you're white, because I think because they made black the opposite of white, every time you use the term black, you remained underneath the white. My opinion.
Exactly.
If black is the opposite of white, then every time they say white and you say black, you are beneath white, right? Especially because they invented the terms. I've said this over and over again. I also, on Conversations with King, got into it with my aunt one day because she was questioning me about something that happened about 1.5 years ago on another platform where I said Black people use the term black and their existence as being black. They treat it like a scab that they let people pick off every time they talk about somebody being black.
Preach.
So I was saying, why do you let these people affect you so badly when they put the word black in front of it? Like, stop doing it. Stop giving them this power. And when Maya asked me the question, well, did you say that Black people were whining about their blackness, blah, blah, blah? I was like, Maya, why do you care? And no one ever has an answer for me. Why do you care what I think? You have to ask yourself, because it's outside of me. And this is in general, not just Maya asking me that question that day. But why do you care? Why does it affect you so deeply what I think? We're not breaking bread together. We're not making money together. We are not related. We are not lovers. Why is it that people are so easily affected and wounded and triggered about their blackness? And it's because the word black is a trigger word. And people don't realize that the word black itself is a trigger word. It is a trigger word because all I have to do, when you say someone's ugly, I say, oh my God, you black and ugly. That explodes because I put the word black in front of it. And there's so much charge behind that word. But I just wanted to say I agree with you 100%. unfortunately, like Chef said, you have all the degrees and the masses are in kindergarten. So there's gonna always be pushback. When I tell people, well, how do you identify? And I'm like, Puerto Rican. Yeah, but are you black? Is that black or are you white? We need to know if you're black or white. How do you identify? And I said, I'm Puerto Rican, right? It's like they don't want to deal with me unless I pick, well, are you black or are you white? And I think it's asinine because they use the word black as some sort of weapon. And I spoke about that before, but because I identify as Puerto Rican, I get attacked, right? So I'm glad that you're here and you're saying it. Maybe it's more acceptable for you to say it. And I even understand why. I even understand why it's more acceptable for you to say it. But I agree with you 100%. I don't subscribe to white or black or colors or race. It is something that was invented. Why would I subscribe to something that was invented? But in many, many circles, I just keep quiet about it because I don't want to argue to 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. I just don't.
Or get kicked out of the family.
So
right.
can I ask
people are not gonna let that go. It's like trying to take someone away from Jesus Christ. If you grew up
to me it's like saying you're a victim, and I say, no, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm fucking not a fucking victim. Every time I say it, if I say I'm black, I'm saying I'm a victim. I'm not a freaking victim.
I beg to differ.
So Jen, you said you identify as Puerto Rican,
mm-hmm.
and you identify as Puerto Rican because that within itself identifies as a particular culture, a different experience, a way that your specific group of people operate.
Yes.
Okay. So the question I'm going to ask you two ladies, based on the ideals in which you ladies were just speaking to, how is it that we should identify ourselves? Because if black is a negative, if black is holding us down, if black is a representation of everything negative, how should we identify ourselves as a cultural group?
That's an amazing, great question. When people ask me about my background, I say African. That's why I like the term Afro-Latina. Do not call me a color. I am not a color. So how I identify, because my ancestors are from Africa, right? My father's considered a black man complexion-wise and features and everything. That's how I identify. But I can't tell you how to identify how you feel comfortable. I'm telling you, that's how I identify, because that's where my people are from. Though I wasn't born and raised there, I always use Afro before Latina, because that's my background. So how you identify without using the word black is something that you have to dig deep within yourself and figure out, because I had to dig deep within myself and figure it out and look into my history, right? And where my dad comes from, and the dark-skinned Puerto Ricans and Loíza, Puerto Rico. So that's how I identify. I'm like, do not connect me to the word black. I don't like it. And it's my right not to like it. It's a color. I feel like it has nothing to do with me. It was invented by some white man, and I don't want to live under the umbrella of something that a white man invented. Sorry, right? So I say Afro-Latina. If you want to connect me to blackness, right? Connect me to Africa. Don't give me this label that was started by a white man to suppress and oppress. That's just my opinion. I know we have Black Girl Magic and Black Girls Rock, and black is beautiful and black is powerful. I know those things mean a lot to a lot of people. I'm just saying that they don't mean anything to me, because the word black is an invention. It's a social experiment. It's a political stance. Right?
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you. May I respond, sir, to your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you don't have to say yes, ma'am. You're making me feel old.
Oh no,
even though I am older than Chef.
no. For the record, that it doesn't matter what your age is. If my mother was aware,
I acknowledge your respect.
Stick me in my head.
I acknowledge your respect, and I absolutely adore your question. Now, a lot of people aren't gonna appreciate this answer, but there's many different levels to this shit. So, as Jen would say, I would never deny that my lineage possibly comes from the continent of Africa. I would never deny that. Although I would never deny that my lineage also is a progenitor of people who are already on this landmass. There's books and research already been here forever saying that people who look like you and I were already here before 1619. Now, when I say there's levels to this, I can identify with that. And if I identify with the people who are already here, I'm an American, but even American is a political term, is a nationality based on landmass. If I were to say I was of African descent, that is an ambiguous term because there's over 52 countries on that continent. So where am I? It still is lacking, which is why Malcolm put the X behind his name. X is represents in mathematical terms as the unknown. That's what the X represents behind his name. That's what he was acknowledging. This is why they came after him for saying that people who look like you and I should go for the nationality. We are Americans. Now, here's something else a lot of people aren't aware of. The corporation known as the United States allows you to self-identify. It has a classification for humans, and every human being has the right to self-identify. So Jen can say that she is African or Afro-Latina. She can say that, and that is true. I can say that I am American, and that is true. I can also go biblically and say what God said that I am. And he says that I am that I am. There is no definition greater than I am a child of God. John 10:30. Look it up, Chef. I know you all about those definitions. Go to John 10:30. What does it say? I and my Father are one. So if I wanted to get down onto the basic level, I would say that I am that I am. I am spirit. I am not of flesh. If you were to call me black, you're referring to my flesh, although I've already demonstrated that you are not black. That is not your flesh color. The people that we refer to as white, and look at them, they're not white, they're more pink. So all of this is false. So what is it? So how do we make sense of this? So for me, I was born and raised in America. I'm American. Now, as I say that, again, that is a political status. That is a nationality. But that is the one nationality for people who look like you and I that has the most privileges on this planet. That's why everybody's trying to get here, to be American. Now, as soon as I say I'm black, I'm already put myself in a second-class citizenship. There's such thing as called a caste system. You all are aware of the caste system in India? That's what white and black is, beloveds. It's a caste system. You don't have to agree with it.
So
you don't have to agree with it.
So there's some folks that they're asking tactical questions like, what will you put on the application? Well, go ahead, Hanifa. Was that Hanifa or Jen?
That was me.
Okay.
It's way past like my bedtime. I just wanted to make sure I jumped in here. Oh my gosh, I have so many questions. Now, my first response, right, is I think we're talking about two different planes. I think the plane that we're talking about, we understand. Anyone that has read or studied or researched, we understand race is a social construct. We understand that it's a political position. We understand that, right? But I think we're talking about two different planes. I think we're talking about the planes, the physical plane, right? And then we're talking about the spiritual plane, right? And I think that it can be dangerous. Oh my! So I hear a siren. Sorry.
Sorry, I see the popo going by, Hanifa.
I think that it could be okay. So let me tell you what I wrote. Right. The first question that comes to mind to me is that okay. So how many other things are we willing to abandon that the white man has created to ensure his survival or their survival? How many other things are we willing to share? Because there's a lot. There's a ton load of them, right? That's one. The second thing is that for me personally, I'm not willing to play semantics while my survival is at stake. Because we exist in a, whether you think it's a glitch, a download, whatever, programming, whatever it is, it's still, even if it's someone else's reality, it is someone else's reality that we are existing in. Okay? So for me personally, even though I am aware of everything Joanna is saying, I am also aware of the fact that when we talk about the physical plane, the body that I exist in happens to look like this. And this, the systems that are in place, right, has actually labeled bodies that look like this. Now, whether you participate or not in that, it does not erase it. It does not make it less real. It does not mean that when I get focused on for the color of my skin, that I could say I'm a spiritual being. Anybody want to hear that shit? You know what I'm saying? I'm just being real. No, ain't nobody going for that, and we know that, right? So it's like, okay, so then what do we do? I understand. The other thing I had a question about the race piece, because when you talked about how they were able to decide or how to separate, and I know the history as far as America, and you know, it's like a divide and conquer tactic. The people were getting along, and then it's like, you know what, we can't have this, right? And so we need to divide them up. When it comes to the concept of race, to me, I feel like race had to happen before slavery happened. Otherwise, slavery could not be justified. And when I say that, I mean that there's a propaganda machine that went to work big time, right? In saying that these people, because they have smaller brains, right? Because, you know, they have certain body parts, and the way their body parts are on their bodies, this makes them subhuman. This makes them less than human. They did that, and I agree with Joanna. They did that because their agenda was, okay, we're going to use these particular people for labor, for profit, whatever. In order to get everyone on board, you have to first make those people less than human, so that anyone that's involved in it can say, well, they don't even have souls, because this is written. This is science, the science that we love so much. And I appreciate science, but even that has been weaponized against us. So for me, as I'm listening to this conversation, Joanna, I love your contribution here. There's just my pushback to that. And I've been in conversations just like this before. My thing is that I'm not willing to play semantics while my children's lives are at stake. I'm not doing that, right? I could be aware of race being a social construct and also be aware of it matters in the systems that we are existing in. So I feel like we're talking about two different planes. There's the natural, there's the physical. I keep saying the natural, there's the physical, the carnal, because we exist in these bodies. And then there's the spiritual, where we are spiritual beings. And you're right, there is no color on that plane. It doesn't matter. But where do we live? Where are we existing? What bodies are we occupying? And what does that mean? So within myself, I could say, yes, I don't believe that. I believe race is a social construct, right? But at the same time, I still exist in this body. So what does that mean? That means that first, I talk about systems that exist within us. That's what I was talking about when we were talking about attractiveness and symmetry and all of these other things. My question is always, do you have to participate in it? Which is what I think Joanna is saying. You can say race doesn't matter, but if you coming at me with a gun in your hand because of the race that I identify with, guess what's going to happen? I am going to be protective of that and everyone else that looks like me, whether I think it's a racial construct or not. So that's what we're having. That's what's happening now. I'm not saying that okay. I am saying two things can exist in the same space. I can actually agree that it's a racial construct, right? I can agree to that. I could agree that on the spiritual plane, race don't exist, but I could also agree, right, and say that if you come for my people, I'm going to come at you as a Black woman, period, because you're coming at me as a Black woman. So now I have to defend the body that the spirit you guys are talking about existing. We're not spiritual beings. We exist in bodies. And someone has decided that this body is less than that body. And we have to do something about that. And you know something? We're going to have to fight it on the physical and the spiritual plane. But we want to abandon the physical and focus on the spiritual. And I'm saying you're going to have your heads in the clouds while somebody's stamping your black body out. And I can't subscribe to that.
Can I respond, Hanifa? No.
I would like to respond as well after you, Jen, please.
Okay. No.
Hey, real quick, before all you ladies go, I'm gonna let you go, Jen. I just want to say something to my brother Rashawn Dave in the chat. You turning up the chat with some real good points down there, but we need you up here, brother. That's a lot of points you're making. Come up here, let's talk about it, even if you don't care.
You already know you already a part of this, fam. Come on.
Yeah,
I wish I could see the chat. I love the freaking chat.
Can I say something? I just want to say I love Hanifa's passion, but no one is saying both can exist. Nobody. Just because I have this belief, just because I know it to be true, just because I know it to be right, that race is a social construct, it was meant to oppress, does not mean that I'm not going to teach my little brown grandson what it's like in the United States of America and what to look out for. Because
wait, Jen, wait. You said so what you're saying is that no one is saying that they both can't exist. Can you say
exactly.
Okay, got it.
Yes, because they absolutely do exist. We can't be delusional or whimsy or head in the clouds like, oh, race isn't real. We've all experienced that race is real personally, physically. We're all in these situations every single day where people are coming at us just because we're not white, right? It's happened to everybody. It happens consistently from birth to death. So both can be true. The reason why I don't get into these conversations is because people think that you're taking something away from them. You're not going to take away my blackness. I'm black. I'm beautiful. Black is beautiful. And that's the default where people go. Like, how dare you try to take away my blackness? Are you ashamed of being black? Are you ashamed of being African? And we're actually doing the opposite. We're trying to add what it is you think being black is. I'm trying to add. I'm not trying to take away your blackness because no one can do that. If you were born from some sort of African descent, you're going to be of that African descent until they put you in the ground, right?
Are they trying to add or are they trying to protect?
Well, both, however, add or protect. I'm trying to add to a person's knowledge, right? I'm trying to enlighten, but some people aren't ready for that. Some people are like, no, I don't care who invented black. I'm black and I'm beautiful and black girl magic and black, so they get defensive because they think that you're trying to take something away.
Okay, I got what you're saying, Jen.
Mm-hmm. Trying to add, and yes, what I'm adding does protect as well, because it gives you a heightened sense, a heightened sense of who you truly are. And it's not a color some man invented in some office with some other maniacs. So that's where I'm coming from. So absolutely both can be true and both are true. That's the thing.
Real quick, Jen.
Yeah, I need to hear some fellas too.
Hold on.
Real quick, Jen.
Hold on.
I didn't hear you. Go ahead.
I'm gonna wrap it. So yeah, both not only can be true, but both are true is my point. So no one's trying to take either one. We're just trying to add. Now, again, I stay away from these conversations because people aren't ready for them. They're not ready for them. So going back to what Chef said, when he told Juana, pretend you have all the degrees and these are kindergartners. That's usually the case when you're in a group of people. So I stay away from these conversations because it's like trying to convince 100 people that something is purple, right? And they've all believed all their whole lives that it was the color red. And it's just not worth it. Like, life is too short. You find your tribe, right? You be who you are and you find your tribe. Like me and Joanna would hang out because we think the same thing and we agree. So you find your tribe. I'm not trying to fight this black word because it's too embedded. It's like religion. It is too embedded. But
fight the power.
But just both things can be true. I just wanted to and Hanifa, absolutely, respectfully, both things can be true and both things are true. Go ahead, Vic.
So look, now I think the divide that we got off on the last show was that you were speaking towards this racism, and my disagreement was that racism, the way I broke it down, was just one trick in a bag of many. So I thought that the more accurate reason for some of these things was monetary or classes. way over racism. Not that racism didn't also or wasn't a trick that's being used to divide us for this reason or that, but it's much lower on the list than some people would imagine. And I felt like we were giving it too much shine when we could be appropriating some of that time for a solution, because we understand that it's just a construct. So I think that it seems like because you're saying two things are true, it's like you're on both sides of the argument. So can you clarify where you stand with that in relation to what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. When you and I got into that verbal fisticuffs, right? You didn't hear me say, or maybe you did and ignored it. I said all of those are factors. I didn't give any percentage to any one of it. There's financial, there's economics, there's top of the food chain, there's the 1%ers, there's race, right? And I think you thought because I brought race into the equation that I was saying that was the number one reason that we're treated badly, which I absolutely do not think. That's why a Black man like Jay-Z can now sit at lunch with Warren Buffett. Because in Warren Buffett's eyes, Black doesn't matter anymore because you got all that what? Green. So when we were having that verbal back and forth, you were like, well, race isn't it? And I was like, no, wait a minute. Race is a factor, and that's why I'm bringing it up. And that's what I added to the panel while you guys were talking about, I think, more financial reasons of why people are treated badly. So they're all factors, all of them. So I'm not on both sides of the fence. I'm not on both sides of the fence. Like I told Hanifa, both are true. So I'm with both of them, acknowledging that both of them exist. Black is a social construct. It was invented. We were stamped with it. We were labeled with it. It is a label that's something that had nothing to do with us. We were given. But that does not mean that I cannot sit down with my very brown grandson and not teach him when you go out there, people are going to look at you like X, Y, and Z. When you get pulled over by the police, they're going to think X, Y, and Z. You have to talk this way. You have to talk this way. So I don't think those are opposite sides. I think they're parallel. I don't think those are opposite sides because both are true.
But to ask people even to get in, I'm just going to say this real quick. I actually feel to enter into a space, and this isn't for you, Jen, in general. I think when people are having these conversations and we enter into the space and we say, why are we focusing on this? I think it's disingenuous. I think it's intellectually dishonest. I think that it is really deciding to like put on blinders. We know why we're discussing this. Even though we know it's a social construct, we know why that social construct is an issue. So when we enter into a space and ask the question, are we making a big deal out of it? I'm like, where do you live? Do you live in the heavens? Are you already existing in that realm solely? Because to ask that question is to actually act like this is not the reality for people that look. I mean, two of these things.
Hey, hold on, everybody, hold on just a second. First of all, let's get the likes up. And let's go ahead and shout out. We got a couple new panelists in here. Shout out to Sean Dave. And the King is in the building.
What's up?
Shout out to King.
Mecca, what it do? Conversation with King. And what up to Truth is never favored as well. What's going on?
Family. My brother. I'm really. What up, everybody? I'm really loving this conversation, man. Like this is. Y'all doing a lot right now. I love it, man. Y'all really getting deep.
Chef's show is the dope show.
The dopest. It's the dopest. But you know, I want to say one thing though. You know, with these conversations that we having, you know, it's sometimes it might get triggering a little bit, but just understand, you know, we're just trying to get to the truth and then a solution. Don't let it get to you, and don't let someone's tone take you away from the truth. You know what I mean? A lot of times, like people like me and sometimes Jen, you know, we say things with passion and fire, but I want y'all to dig deep into the truth. Like this listen to the core of the message, because what happens is you might get lost in it. You know, you just might get lost in that fire instead of realizing that fire is used to pure. It's used for purification. That's what fire is for sometimes. So sometimes you got to hear that and it triggers something emotional. But if you really take time to reflect on it, there's some truth to it. But I really do appreciate everybody that, you know what I mean. Oh, I love the sound effects too. Don't worry, I'm getting sound effects soon. Don't worry, I'm getting that soon. But I love that. But I just love that Hanifa's out here doing the Nighthawk thing. The ladies is holding it down. Jan and Hanifa hold it down. I'm so proud of y'all, and I want y'all to win so bad, man. I want Mr. O to win bad. He might be the fourth man on the low, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, continue doing what y'all do. I'm just gonna keep on listening, and I want to shout out to my girl on the West Coast. I love her. I love how you so strong. I love how you so independent. I love how you don't budge. You make me better just by being you. And I'm out.
Chef, mute him.
Hanifa, I wanted to respond to Hanifa.
Go ahead, Jen. Go ahead.
Hanifa, you are absolutely correct. That's actually how Vic and I got into our verbal dispute, because I was bringing up race and he was insisting I shouldn't bring up race because we already know that race is an issue, right? And he wanted to stick on the finances, blah, blah. I said, but race is a huge component of why this is happening. So I agree with you. I would never step in a space and be like, oh, why are we talking about this? It doesn't matter. It very much matters. I'm saying that there are different variables and factors that go in. It's not just the one thing, right? So I agree with you on that point 100%. And I think that Joanna wanted to respond as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Very gracious. A very gracious panel. I completely understand how my concepts and the things that I'm relating to you all are very jarring. That word trigger is so overused. Do we all agree?
Yes.
It's upsetting. It's upsetting. I've been raised in this same space as you are, beloveds. I've been pulled over by 8 popos before just for turning the wrong way in an intersection. Guns drawn. I've been called the N-word by a 10-year-old. I was on the campus of University of Arkansas, and a group of so-called white guys drove by. I'm walking my little dog, just minding my little old business, and called me the N-word. These things are jarring. These things can be upsetting, but I have to continue to go back to what my mama and my daddy said. And what King just said last night. Someone calls you something, and now we take it on. What I mean by take it on is it's almost like we believe it. How do we know we believe it? Because we get upset. We get upset when somebody, I get upset still if somebody calls my father a boy. I remember one time me and my dad were going to finance a vehicle, and I didn't like the way this service guy was talking to him. I was like, hold up, wait a minute. He is a grown man. I digress. I'm getting off topic. Miss Hanifa, I love what you said. I respect what you said. You are right. It's not like I'm not looking around and cannot see what has been going on. But at the same time, I recognize I don't think you mean to be hyperbolic, to blow up an issue. What I mean by that is I like statistics. I like things that are written and recorded. I like facts. Factually, you use the term, now I can't go through your entire message point by point, but I can remember certain words that stuck out. You mentioned, this is my survival. Survival. I don't walk around on this earth plane in survival mode. There is no one who is so-called white sticking guns in my face or harming me. Yes, there were some teenagers that drove by when I was walking my little dog and said the N-word. I've been called the N-word by so-called Black people too. I listen to the N-word when I turn on, well, not on the radio, it's not allowed anymore, but in certain spaces we listen to music and people are blasting you N-word, you this, and we are on these panels and people go, oh, you nigga, da, 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 da. Forgive me, Chef, for using that word. Sorry. No, I do not feel like I'm in survival mode. I like statistics. I like facts. I like things that are recorded. If you go to Chef, help me. What is the department that records violence and murders and how many black people and how many white people were killed and how many da da da? And I do believe when the George Floyd incident came up, I found my way to a site and it recorded that 214, maybe, I'm just paraphrasing my memory, so-called black people were shot, unarmed black people, because there were more who were armed who were shot, but we're just talking about the unarmed. 214 unarmed black people were shot and killed by law enforcement. There's 41 million of us on this landmass. Of course, some of those are babies and elderly. So let's just kind of in our mind, just kind of cipher some off. Let's say it's about 20 million of us walking around between 18 and 45. And then in the year, I think it was 2019 or 2018 when George Floyd was murdered, 214 unarmed black people were shot and killed by police. Now that's a fact. So when we use hyperbolic words such as, well, I'm in survival, it sounds like from the slave master.
Oh, and wait, that's hold not. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
And for me,
can we correct that? Because I did not say that I am in survival mode. Because now what's happening is by saying that, it's a picture is being painted as if I am saying I am a victim. I am saying that if it's a matter of my survival, of that of my children, I am not willing to play around with semantics. I use if. It is a matter of my children's survival and my own. I am not willing to play around with semantics. I just want to be clear on that.
Thank you for that clarification. Virgos love that. Thank you for that clarification, Sister. Virgos love that. I love that. Oh my gosh. Thank you for correcting me. I just want everyone who can hear the sound of my voice to know that Black people are not being hunted down in this so-called landmass. It is upsetting to me the way George Floyd died. I went to the place where in Missouri where the boy was shot by the police. I live in Arkansas. I drove 6 hours to protest the shooting of, oh my God, somebody help me. Who was the boy who was shot in Missouri? Brown. Mike Brown. I went there and protested for 2 days and stood in face of law enforcement at that site. At the University of Arkansas, I stood in protest for 2 months after I learned what had happened to Trayvon Martin with a sign that I handwritten myself, a big poster. I stood outside between the classes. You're probably going, she was in class, she was 52 years old. Yes, I believe in continued so-called education. So I was in my 40s, standing on a curb on the campus. Police was all stopping me and trying to tell me my freaking rights. Well, I know my freaking rights, but I stood there for 2 months until that Hispanic man was at least charged, because he was not even charged with the slaying of Trayvon Martin. Forgive this fire truck, guys. The man was not even charged. It was months after Trayvon Martin was murdered. The man was not even charged. This upset me. So everyone understand that I hear you. I'm not sitting here with blinders on. I'm not a thoroughbred with blinders on. I stand up for my people. At the same time, two things can be true. That was horrific. That was wrong. At the same time, we as a so-called people are not under attack in this landmass. We are constantly being jarred. We are constantly being over emotional over words, over a person who was harmed. We don't even know them. Sometimes they have sketchy backgrounds, and somebody in the chat is going to say, I don't care. That's respectability politics. He doesn't have to be perfect to not have to get shot down by the police. I know that, but I got some suspect motherfuckers in my family, and, you know, they got into some shit they shouldn't have been there. They shouldn't have been on the corner, and my stepbrother got shot, and he shouldn't have been out there at 2 a.m. What were you doing out there at 2 a.m. on the corner? What was you doing? Why weren't you getting ready to go to work? Anyway, I digress. I'm sorry, Chef. You know how I can be. But I want to leave us all with this. When are we going to stop being in survival mode and in an abstract temporal frontal lobe thinking where we can't walk down the street? I got a pistol in my car right now, and it's legal. I've been pulled over for tags. I've been arrested. You know what they arrested me for? Not for the shotgun in the back seat of my truck. They arrested me for the freaking tags. 20 minutes later, I was out. Nobody beat me up. Nobody put me in the back of their truck and beat me up. And these were so-called white people. I've been arrested more than 3 times. I was doing wrong. I was stealing a pack of cigarettes, a pack of Newports in a grocery store. I was doing wrong. You know, I get it. But when is it enough? I asked this question in the chat. I said, what has to take place for us to know that we're free? What does that look like? You guys have asked me questions. I want to ask somebody, does it have to be completely nobody don't like us? Does it have to be completely not one black person can be mistreated? What about, is this a fair question? Maybe sometimes it's not your color. Maybe they just don't like you. Some people just don't like me. I accept this. I don't like a lot of people. I'm Virgo. We're very picky. I'm very selective. There's some people I do not like. There's some people I mistreat. I'm not fair sometimes. If you think you're going to get out of this earth plane alive without somebody mistreating you, grow up. Grow up. Someone is going to mistreat you. Somebody's going to call you a bitch. Somebody's going to call you the N-word. Somebody's going to call you, what'd you say? Jen, my sister, she was right to say that about Donovan. He was being a bitch ass nigga. She was right. He was. I watched the whole program.
Hey, don't co-sign that, sis. Don't co-sign that.
I'm telling you, I think that was Mr. O or Vic. I don't know who, but he was being that way. He was being weak. He was being all of that. And that's a fair assessment. And see, we can say things about one another, but we don't want nobody outside of our so-called group to say, but what if they're right?
Rashawn, is Rashawn still on? What did I say about Vic? He's the don't agree with Gen Police. Did I not say that? Did you just not do it again?
Come on, Jen.
I want to hear other people. So I want to hear other people. So I'm going to be quiet for a moment, but I hope I can stay on the panel, but I'm going to be quiet.
I gotta go, Chef. I'm going to step down. I'm still going to listen in, but I'm going to go ahead and step down. I'm just going to respond to one thing that Joanna said. She asked the question, so I'm just answering. She asked, when is Black people going to come out of survival mode? My response to that is when it is safe to do so. And as someone who used to train in trauma, prevention and work with traumatized victims, I understand the first thing that we talk about is wherever the environment is that traumatized that person, trying to get them healed in that same environment, and the abuse is still taking place, is almost almost impossible to do so. So most of the time when we would deal with those victims of whatever it is, sexual abuse, whatever, there's a removal out of that environment that has to happen so that the healing can actually begin. So to answer the question, when do Black people in general come out of survival mode or whatever, thinking that they're free? My response to that is when it's safe to do so. And if you guys really believe that America is safe to do so, then I don't know how to respond to that. I really don't, because I'm just like, look at the America we living in. But I'm going to step down, but I'm still listening, okay?
The statistics say statistically we are very safe. We're more safe here than any other place in the world.
Shit.
Only 214 unarmed black people were shot and murdered in 2018 or 19. Go look it
How
up.
many were arrested though?
Yeah.
They was doing wrong.
All
They
of
was
them?
doing wrong.
How you doing, Miss Wanda?
We the only ones in this corrupt society.
No, we're not the only ones. We commit. My beloved brother. We also commit 50% more of the crime. Nobody wants to acknowledge that. That's a fact. That's a fact. We commit more of the crimes, and we're only 14% of the population. Come on.
I'm gonna let my brothers get something. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, of course, y'all know I co-sign everything she's saying. I completely concur.
Which one? Who was that? And who are you concurring with? Who's speaking?
This is Truth. I'm concurring with you, ma'am.
My beloved, I have a double stigmatism. I cannot read the verbiage on my phone, and there's a big crack in it because I'm cheap. I refuse to buy another phone. I refuse.
So much.
Hey, look, I'm falling in love with you by the minute, man. I love your rings. That's authentic right there. You heard me.
Truth. So, I love your name. Truth. Can you tell us how many black people are in this? What's the percentage of black people in this so-called landmass?
You talking about in the United States? The percentage?
I told you last night. Last night. You remember?
She said percentage, not numbers. You said 40.
Not numbers, the percentage.
So we're talking about probably 12%.
12 to 14%. Are you aware that percentage? And see, that percentage, it's not even a breakdown of how many elderly and how many babies.
No, I know. I'm totally with you on everything.
And so that means what that means, Truth, is that is even less people committing more than 50% of the entirety of the crime.
Right.
Can we talk about it? But we don't want to talk about it. We want to talk. We don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about somebody hurt my feelings because I'm black. They call me black, and he married her because she light skinned and got good hair, and he black, and your mama black, and come on.
So Miss Wanda,
don't make a mockery of it, since you made some good points.
Yeah. So sort of, I mean, basically everything you were saying, you just got a little bit more chance to elaborate on a lot of different things, and I'm so glad that this conversation continued over. Like you said, this survivalist, demeanor, it do need to stop. But the problem is, it starts from inside the household. Some of us are raised on love, and some of us are raised to survive. And just being raised in that manner, and then you add along when we start learning about, go to school, then you got Black History Month, and then you piling on all that trauma, all that fear, all that watching another race hurt us, another race put us, all this inferiority been placed in our minds. Like we have no power, like we have nothing good about us, like we're not conquerors, like we're just to be trodden and left on the ground, to just be stomped on. Like we can't achieve anything. And what I was saying is, why we're not promoting, instead of talking about that, why aren't we promoting that we can achieve these type of things? We can achieve greatness. We are powerful. We are more than just when you see somebody strung up and hung and throat slashed and all these things and beat on. Like, I never even seen those type of things. I remember being in school. And watching people faces and how they ooh and ah and everything. I never felt no like powerlessness. I never got around a white person and felt like they was better than me, or that they was going to harm me. Most of the time when I get around white people, they more afraid of me than anything.
Speak.
They're terrified of me. They will walk down the street, and if I'm walking, they clutch that, like they scared like I'm going to do something to them. You know why? Because the worst thing I learned that you can have is for somebody to fear you. Most people die because of fear. I was raised to be respected, not to be feared. Because if you're feared in my city, you get a bullet put in your head straight off the bat. You got to go if I fear you. So most of the time, these white people are scared of us, terrified of us. There's been a couple of situations where people was throwing firecrackers in this homeless man bed. They was going around playing this knockout game and knocking all these white people out. Going down Fells Point, and this lady, they just went up to this lady and knocked her clean out for no reason. For no reason.
I'm afraid of so-called black people, Truth. I'm more afraid of them.
And then the thing is, we claim that this is so much racism, and they're racist. We are racist as crap too.
Thank you. Can somebody give this man an extra microphone?
We are racist as crap too, but because of the actual, like, okay, so let's go to the definition.
That's funny now. I gotta challenge you. Truth.
I didn't finish what I was saying. Can you?
I know what I'm saying, man. You triggered me. All right.
Can I finish?
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Come back to it. But that's interesting that you use the word racism.
Let me finish so you can understand what I meant by racism. Okay, so the term racism, a lot of times why people say we can't associate it to black people because we're not in a position of power. They like to say we're not over top of people. We can't put people in an inferior position. That's the point I'm trying to make. How the heck are we how are we put in an inferior position? How are we put in this position of powerlessness? Like it has to be a demeanor. It has to be a acceptance of these type of things. And I'm not promoting these things to my children. I do not raise them to say, oh, you know, the white man, like this is some boogeyman or something. I don't talk to them like that. I don't talk to them like they should even feel, you know, separated from individuals. We don't talk about colorism. We talk about people. We talk about character. I judge everyone on an individualistic basis.
Amen.
If you are a person of character, we can rock out.
Bro,
amen.
Hold on, bro. You got to remember, we got to give appropriate context, right? You were the same dude last night that said that you would not be telling your son about how to handle himself when they encounter police. You remember that conversation yesterday about having a conversation with your son about the police?
I said, say what I said again, because I'm going to rewind this tape to see if.
So then you clarified, so because it was one of your truths.
No, tell me what I said.
So correct me.
So I can say what I said. No, I want you to tell me.
Because I remember the question was asked, since you didn't believe in racism and you said I don't believe in all of that, right? You gave the opinion almost like it was just a fictitious construct, like a matrix that people was in that didn't exist. So then I asked you if you would give your kids the speech about the police. So now I remember what I understood, and because it ain't the exact words, it's how you made me feel, right? So how you made me feel was though you were not going to have that conversation, as though it was not necessary. So,
I love how you quoted Maya Angelou, Chef. Thank you for that.
Well, no
and
problem.
The conversation is necessary. Continue.
Yeah. So when I stated about the situation that I have never had a conversation going out of my way to say, my son, you need to be worried about white people out here. You need to be worried about these white cops because they're trying to hunt you down. They're trying to kill you.
You're adding stuff, bro. You're adding stuff. I just say, I had the conversation with my son. I had the conversation with my son about it, right? I didn't say that they're trying to hunt you down. You're going to an extreme. I'm asking you, that's conflating. You're going to a full extreme, moving the goalpost, bro.
I didn't move anything. We're talking about white.
Have the conversation because you're adding details. I'm just saying the conversation. I didn't say.
But you can't tell me how to respond, bro. Like, where are we going at with this?
The thing is, you're responding to a question I didn't ask, though, because if you move the goalposts in your answer, then that's
Oh, come
someone
on. We
else's
don't want to
question.
go.
That's
Hey,
not
come
my
on now,
question.
bro. We don't want to go that route because everybody.
It's not that,
Okay,
though.
say no more.
If you
I'm
think
going to
I'm
tell
trying
you
to
that.
box you in, just
I'm
let
going to
me
tell you
box
that
you
way.
in and answer.
No, I got you. I got you. You absolutely right. So we're going to carry that format from now on. Please do not add on to anything that I do not add.
All right, man.
If we're going that way,
Go ahead.
we can't split hairs. We can't split hairs. So you're absolutely right. No, I did not have the conversation with my son about going out here being stopped by police. All right. So can I get back to the part about the about agreeing with Miss Warner? All right. Thank you. So what I wanted to ask of everyone else, as far as we was talking about the words and everything, and the N word and everything like that. Now, I'm not a person that harpers on this word, but words are important. I say it all the time. Words, your name and who it represents and the meaning of it. A person, they're going to call you that your whole entire life. So every time, whatever your name means, a person calls you that, they're speaking what that means into you. Every single time they say that. So words are very important. We have to be careful what we're saying to each other. We have to be careful with the intent of it and the context of it.
Amen.
We can't be just glossing over certain words and things like that, thinking, like in my city, people run around here saying, "What's up, dummy?" And I'll be ready to smack the crap out. I'll be like, "Yo, don't talk to me like that." Straight up. But they use it as a term of endearment. I don't. And I never will carry myself like you're not going to talk to me like that. Straight up. So we have to get out of, like she said, the survivor's attitude, this defeatist attitude, this inferiority complex. We got to get out of. We got to promote, not power, because I'm tired of people trying to seek power. We got to promote wisdom. We got to promote love. We got to promote unity instead of division. If any other country wanted to come and destroy us, now is the time to do it. A divided house cannot stand, and we are divided more than anything than we have ever been. Ever been. People talk about slavery back then and racism back then. The mindset that we have, the emotional part, it was a lot of physical things that was happening, but how emotionally we are driven now is beyond. I've talked to older people about this, and they say it's worse now than what it was back then. And they was living in the thick of it. And they say we are way worse.
People act like they've been through slavery.
That's what I'm saying. And these were the people that was in it. My grandparents and them was in it. My uncles and them was in this stuff. And they saying the way y'all act, y'all act like y'all us. I said, I don't act like that. I said, it's the people out here. They act like they was the ones inside these things. It's people that was actually put on plantation. They was actually raised on plantation. And they said it wasn't like what they talking. It wasn't it's not the majority. It was a minority of these things that would happen. And that's what I keep trying to tell people. People is bad, evil people everywhere, every race and color. It's about character.
We need to pass the ball. We need, you know what I'm saying, the ISO. Let's pass
Thank
the
you
ball.
for that. Thank you for that, Truth. Thank you.
Already.
Hey, Watts, I'm gonna pass it back to you real quick. Let me take this shot real quick. I'm open.
Oh, I was just asking, because I do understand everything that Truth and Wanda are speaking on. I really just wanted to hear some other voices. You know what I'm saying? We got two gentlemen down in the bottom that didn't talk. I ain't heard from you, Mr. O. We ain't heard from in a while. So please, y'all enjoy yourself. Pass the ball a little bit.
Yeah, I just got here, but I ain't gotta say no more. Y'all go ahead and handle that.
No. Look, this is real quick because I don't want to touch this point before it get cold. Now, Miss Joanna and Truth just spoke to getting out of the victim mentality, not propagating what we would call fear mongering or propaganda. And I think that was the divide that me and, again, evoking your name, Jen had yesterday. And
excellent word, propaganda.
And the way I felt about it was that inside of that room, we were talking about escape plans, not slavery. We all know we're in slavery. Cool. So in this room, the conversation was more fitting, but it's very funny how it tracked right back into the other room, which is, hey, we done talking about this shit. Now let's talk about escape plans again. So as far as I'm concerned, the racism element, I can't say whether it should or shouldn't be taught. I think that's each to his own because everybody has a reason for why. I think a lot of this is tied into what Truth is saying is people's personal anecdotal experiences being spread like urban legend, and now everybody has the fear of a boogeyman who's not quite as big as you think he is, but maybe he is. Who knows? But regardless of the fact, if we stay in that mindset, there is no win. You might as well accept defeat.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Chef, what's that scripture where Jacob and them Israelites were saying they was gonna take that area and something about but we were afraid because for us against them we feel like grasshoppers.
You talking
But
about
God told him to, okay, Aaron, thank you for that correction. Thank you, it was Aaron. But God told him to go and take the place anyway. It's in your mind, it's mental. What about David and Goliath? He went up against him and said, here, David, here's a sword. He's like, I don't need no damn sword. Give me a rock and a rag. End up cutting Goliath's head off with Goliath's own sword. Come on now.
Is that on YouTube? What was that? Can I see that?
That's
Hey,
biblical.
Rashawn,
Come on,
what's up,
Chef.
bro?
Find it. Find it for us, Chef.
Miss Wanda, they're not into that stuff. That's not gonna fly here.
Rashawn, you had some contrary points to add. Let's hear them out loud.
Yeah. All right, Vic. First of all, what's up, everybody?
What's up?
What
What's
up?
up?
What up? I seen Truth. I seen Truth through some shots, so I got a little something now when somebody's shooting, firing shots in the house.
Yeah, that's nice. I actually
Shots fired, extreme shade detected. Go ahead, yo. Go ahead.
I landed at a place in between where like two tents are. Like, so I see what Joanna. I see exactly what Joanna's talking about.
Thank you for the pronunciation, beloved. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. I know what you guys are talking about, but there's a step in between where you are and where the normal so-called black person is. Where you are is what's useful to you because you've gotten past the pain. Like when we talk about men and women relationship, the red pill rage, that black rage, you guys have gotten past that and you want to move to something more useful that you can put into practice right now today. And all of the trauma and the pain and dwelling on it, that's not useful. So I get where you are, but some of us haven't gotten to that point yet. Some of us want our pain acknowledged. And I get that's not useful to you, but some people need to feel heard before they can move on to the next step. Like there are steps to grieving, there's steps to like recovery, there are steps to things. And you guys are a little further along in the coming out of the mental bondage, I would say. And that's okay. Everybody can be where they are in their own time. But some of the things you say come across disingenuous because of our different perspectives. Some of the things you say are inconsistent. Like you say, Miss Joanna, you say nobody's hunting us, but I have a shotgun on my lap. So there are certain different things that feel inconsistent when you say, I can't remember all of it because I did wait a while. But there were several different things that you say that sound one way. It sounds great. Social constructs. Oh, black is a social construct. But then you were also saying it was a great critique that Jen called that man a bitch ass nigga. So he's a bitch, he's an ass, and he's a nigga. And that's a great critique. Those social constructs fit him, but black doesn't. So, I mean, that inconsistency also will pique some ears. It's hard to reconcile that from the outside when we hear those. So people will tend to write off your message because one, it doesn't fit where we are. and two, it doesn't feel consistent.
Yeah, Dave.
You are very eloquent. Very
Thank you.
eloquent.
Nah, send that
Can you
rebuttals.
continue? Will
Send
you
the
continue to
rebuttals.
speak? Will you continue to speak? I'd like to hear more of you. I can't see your name, but would you continue?
Oh, this is Rashawn. So I wanted to also say that I appreciate dialoguing with you in the chat as well. So when we had that exchange earlier, I didn't take any of it personal because we've had so many great exchanges. I would never do that. I know that some people come from a place where they feel things more deeply because it's more personal to them. Like you said, in reverse with us, people have, or Jen, people said those scabs. We have those trigger points or those points of sensitivity. I get that. I'm open to them. And I also don't have a personal wound about the blackness. Like I don't have a personal investment in the words because I realize it's a social construct. It doesn't make me a difference either way or the other. You want to call me Negro, colored, person of color, ADOS, FBA, none of it matters because it doesn't change who I am fundamentally. So like that's where I'm at. And you have to get there sometimes for other people. They have to come out of the pain to get where you're at. Okay, well now what's useful? What can we do now? But there is a utility in the labels, like blackness. If there are three people across the street, say, "Hey, I need you to go get that dude over there. I handed him something. Which dude? The human, the American. Well,
I hear
maybe
you.
the
I
black
hear you.
or the tall one. So there is utility in labels, but you don't want it to become a place where it's your identity. And I think that's what you guys are trying to say in a different way. You don't want to identify with the label because the label's not who you are.
I hear you. That is very profound. I could talk. I can listen to you all day. Just let me say to everyone listening to the sound of my voice that it wasn't offensive what I was saying. It was intentionally to be offensive. I was
Wait,
being
what?
hyperbolic. I was being hyperbolic when I said bitch ass nigga. I was being hyperbolic. I was intending to be offensive because at the same time, uh, these words, as Arshawn Dave said, and as Halifa said, they have meaning, and at the same time they don't. But for the sake of the conversation, I'm trying to connect with some people who those words are triggering. I'm trying to jar them out of their sleepiness. To think that someone such as a Jen could be racist, I'm trying to jar you out of that sleepiness by her using those terms, those same terms that those same gentlemen were using all for the entire 4 hours or how long TLA was having that podcast. They were using those terms, and then when she turned around and used those terms, then she was the boogie woman. And so I was intentionally using those to wake people up, to show them not to pick at the scab of our so-called hypocrisy as a group. But yeah, we can be kind of hypocrites, for lack of a better term. We can be a bunch of hypocrites. We don't want anyone else to say these words. These are our magical words. Jen, can I ask you a question? Isn't the word so-called Negro or nigger, isn't that a Spanish word? And if that is true, doesn't that mean that a Spanish-speaking person is entitled to use it if it's from their culture?
Hell
It's not
nah,
from.
hell nah. I can't co-sign that.
It's
You know
not
that
from our
wrong.
culture.
Oh,
But I digress.
Latin is not
We
Spanish.
gotta come in here with a little
I
broom, y'all.
digress. I
We got
digress. I want to continue to listen.
we gotta come in here with a broom with this, man. Like
Look what's on the screen.
like
Look what's on
this
the screen.
is
Look what's on the screen. What she told you. Look what's on the screen.
yeah. So like that's the shock value. It's good TV and YouTube right now, but I want to be mindful that like the story behind the history of oppression is very similar to the story behind the history of certain religions and the fact that it has been revised and altered by the people who taught it to us. You know, they gave us these things like the title that y'all discussing, just like they gave us Jesus. So we got to understand that, and people that have accepted it, they take it serious. And if you want them to hear you, then we can't present it in that way to where they just think that you're just too radical for even understanding. It's just coming off like I don't think I could say none of the stuff that she's saying. Like I like a lot of things, but I don't think I could say it. I think they taking it from her, and it's funny too. She coming off like real authentic and it's funny, but I don't think they will receive it from me the way she's saying it.
It took a lot of courage for me to get on here to say the things that I'm saying.
Yeah, right. I don't want to say that like people's oppression
it's
real to them. It's real to them, and if they feel like, I just personally have not ever felt in my existence oppressed by the color of my skin on nothing. But and the people that were doing oppression, like when I talk to my mother who's 70 and older people, I don't hear them arguing about the stuff that younger people are arguing about past daytime when they lived through it. Like my mom was in segregation, but she not running around here saying, don't talk like that when you're around your homeboys because it offends me. Like they're not doing that. So I don't know. We want to be effective. We don't want to just have shock value. We want to be effective and get the message across, but we got to be mindful that we are offending some people.
I agree. Thank you. I agree with that. And I sincerely, if you can hear the sound of my voice, I sincerely apologize for my words, for being irresponsible with anyone's trauma. As Arshawn Dave said, everyone is not there yet. And I do respect that.
Respect.
Can I say
Jen, you're on mute.
Get in there, Tristan. Get in
Jen
there.
is talking. Well,
can I respond really quickly? I'm sorry, respectfully. Can I respond to 123 Kid XL? Because the thing about this YouTube verse is that something happens on one panel and people want to drag it and drag it and drag it. I don't know if it's boredom. I don't know if it's a disdain for me. Understand that if you don't like me, I more than likely don't like you twice as much. So it's okay. We don't all have to like each other. Right?
This is what I was trying to avoid by cutting in.
Yeah, don't feel bad, Jen. They don't like me either, sweetie.
Okay,
Every time Tristan comes in.
Exactly.
Well, it's like, I don't care who doesn't like me. Again, more than likely, I don't like you either. So it's 123 Kid. That's not why she was referring to me when the incident that happened on TLA's channel, because everybody's on TLA's nuts for some reason. He's like the up and coming Samuels. So I'm gonna help you hold on a little stronger to his nuts. I get it. So 123 Kid, that's not why she was the boogeyman, meaning me. They checked her on TLA because she said others shouldn't use it, give the whole story. First of all, nobody checks me. Okay, you can have
I was trying to avoid this.
Please let me talk so I can give it to somebody else. I love you, Tristan, but let me finish so I can throw it back to somebody else. Nobody checks me on YouTube. Okay, you can have a difference of opinion. You can agree, you could disagree, but nobody checks me. Okay, TLA cut me off of that panel. Okay, so that's not checking me. That's getting rid of me so I wouldn't continue talking. There's a difference between hanging up on somebody and checking somebody. No one can check me here. My daddy's not here, last I checked. My mama's not on YouTube, last I checked. So nobody can check me. So if you want me to tell the whole story, Donovan Sharp came on very and acting like a bitch. I called him a bitch ass nigga because that is part of my language. Whether you like it or not, whether it offends you because a rapper that you like is not saying it, that is part of my language. I stopped saying the word nigga on my own because I fucking felt like it, because I felt like we could address each other better. There are a million words that we can use aside from the word nigga. It was something that I did consciously. It had nothing to do with, oh my God, you can't say nigga now. It had nothing to do with that. It is part of the culture that I grew up in. That's why I use that word consistently as a teenager, consistently in my 20s. And I say, you know what? I don't like how this feels. I don't like how it sounds. I'm going to stop using it. But the vitriol that was going on that panel with TLA and Donovan Sharp, we were all cursing and saying things back and forth. And I wanted to feminize Donovan Sharp because I felt he was acting feminine, and I called him a bitch ass nigga. So stop.
She was being intentional.
When you talking about it, make sure you use context. Okay, make sure you use context. I am not Jennifer Lopez. I am not Gina Rodriguez. So if you think I'm one of these little white Latina women who, oh my God, she's nigga, you got the wrong one. Okay, you got the wrong one. But no, nobody checked me. My parents are not on YouTube, so none of you can check me. You can disagree, same as I can disagree with you, but I can't check you. You
Hey,
people,
you know what? You know why I said don't co-sign that?
Is that a trigger?
I'm gonna end with this. You guys think that popularity means power. Popularity does not mean power. Kevin Samuels, TLA, Donovan Sharp had no power. They had what we had: keyboards. Keyboards. Popularity is not power. TLA has no power over me. Kevin Samuels has no power over me. None of you have power over me. You have keyboards, same as I. That is what we have. Keyboards. So you can disagree with me. You cannot like me. More than likely, I like you even less than you like me. Trust me. Okay?
Hey, Jen, let me address something you're saying.
I understand.
There's a lot of people don't like me.
Let me address something you're saying.
I'm loving everything she's saying.
Because I was one of the ones who told my sister Juana not to co-sign your statement, even though she said that she found it amusing. Now, I have less of a problem that you use the word nigga, regardless of whatever background you came from. I don't have the issue with the nigga word. I have more of an issue that you called him a bitch ass, anything. And I feel like when you just said can't nobody check you, you was in your whole masculine energy. And though you're a beautiful flower, you can flip that thing back and forth how you want to. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing is that when we talking about protecting women and we talking about gender roles, we talking about relationships, and it's always coming up in this red pill, red pill, red pill. Women got to be a certain way. Women got to be a certain way. I don't subscribe to women got to be a certain way, but I do understand that women should not, in my opinion, approach men in the realm of combat unless they're willing to relinquish their gender. I don't talk to people like that. Chef can check me through the internet. I don't talk to people like that, even though I got the physical power to do something about it, internet or no internet. So when I see a young lady, especially one with a powerful voice as yours, with a platform such as yours, the potential such as yours, and you allow in my opinion, you didn't ask for this critique, but I'm going to say it, your lack of control of some of your verbiage to undermine all of the other great points you make. Because anytime someone mentions your name, they're not going to talk about all of the great points that you made. They're going to talk about the fact that you call D Sharp a bitch ass nigga. Oh, that's the one that like to say nigga all the time. Yeah, fuck her. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about whether you was wrong for saying nigga. That might be somebody else's argument. My concern was that it's a bad precedent for women in general, especially young women who may admire you, who may want to be just like Jen. That's a bad precedent to set. That's all.
Okay, so I appreciate your critique, but let me say this. Jen is Jen. As far as masculine, feminine energy, I am very much both. And I don't think that when I know masculine energy is now being used as an insult on YouTube, I take it as a compliment. When someone says I'm masculine, you see my daddy. Like Joanna, my father was very masculine. I admired him greatly. So I am both. I can be as feminine as they come, and I can be as masculine as they come. The reason why I got into that situation with Donovan Sharp was because he was very much, in my opinion, acting feminine. I'm used to being around men that act like my father, right? So when I see a man come on a panel, he's calling me boo-boo and sweetie, and you call yourself male or you identify as male, when someone is continually trying to be condescending by saying boo-boo, sweetie, I equate that to homosexuality and feminine men. So I called him a bitch-ass nigga because he kept calling me boo-boo and sweetie and boo-boo. And I kept asking him, just call me Jen. Just call me Jen. Just call me Jen. No boo-boo, no sweetie. And I said, okay, so you want to play? So I'm going to call you what I see. Now I
exactly. She was being very intentional. Donovan Sharp continued to call her sweetie and boo boo, even after TLA said, please call her by her name. He
Yeah, he was
continued.
trolling
So
her for
he,
sure.
So with that
That's
said,
that crowd work.
But so were you triggered? Were you
all right, so
triggered
with
by
that
by
said,
him doing that?
all right, but
she just matched his energy. She matched.
Wait,
She matched.
wait. Let Jen
She flipped the
finish.
script on him.
Please.
Let
so
Jen finish.
let me respond to the second half of what you said, and then I'll throw it back to whoever. The second half of what you said when you were saying that young girls may be looking at me, or my name is mentioned, and it's like, oh, that's the girl that say nigga. Let's be clear. There are many panels I'm on where I'm admired. There are many panels I'm on where my voice is never raised. There are men that I speak to and debate, okay, passionately, and I never call them out their name. So let's not paint the picture that every time my name is mentioned, it's negative. Maybe negative with you because you and I don't get along, and that's okay. But you're not going to tell me the debates that I have with Chef, the debates that I have with Mr. O, the disagreements I've had with 100 Watts, the debates that I've had with Conversations on Kings, with a multitude of men, do not end up in a verbal fisticuffs, nor do we end up calling each other out of our name. I have been invited repeatedly to come on panels and debate a myriad of subjects. So you cannot paint the picture or label me, oh, Jen, that's the girl that says nigga. Now, of course, you're going to find a handful of people that aren't going to like me no matter what. And to that, I say 0 fucks given, because no one's going to like anybody all the time. And I am the type of person, I am perfectly okay with people not liking me. That makes some people nervous. That makes some people insecure. If you don't like me, good. That means I said something that you don't want to face. I don't care. Because whether you don't like me, you're watching. You like me, you're watching. Whether you don't know where I stand, you're watching, right? So that's where I come from. So don't make it sound because you and 123 and TLA don't like me that's the consensus. Because it's far from the consensus. It is far from the consensus. Tristan and I play all the time. Tristan is always ragging on me. We've never called each other out of our names, ever. So it's not, so don't make it sound like, oh, that's the girl that likes saying nigga, because that's not who I am. And that's not who I'm going to let you make me, because you and I don't get along.
Yeah,
I've been so-called black for 52 years, and I rock with Jen.
I rock with Jen too. I want to say this.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Jen, reload the clip. And we got somebody coming up. And give me 1 second now. I just want to make sure that everybody had an opportunity to speak.
I said reload. They coming for your ass now. See?
Tristan,
Okay, you walked
Tristan,
out there in the street trying to get me. You ain't watch your back. See?
Tristan, did you get your piece?
1, 2, 3 kid, you started this shit. Don't nobody blame this on me. 1, 2, 3 kid started this.
Oh yeah.
I just no, I didn't say you, Vic. I said part 2 from last night. Wasn't 1, 2, 3 kid in last night too? I'm just talking about the whole conversation. No.
Hey, yo, can I talk about Jen too?
Yeah, talk some shit. Hey, only if you're on my side.
Show. You
can go up there to the top.
Productive, bro.
If you ain't agree.
Just make sure. Wait, hold on. Chat.
Yeah, take Tristan ass up there too.
Wait.
Put him right
Chat.
beside Jen.
Wait.
Okay?
Chat. Make sure you cash app Tristan Draper for rocking with us on this.
Yo, let me mute his ass. Mute his ass quick, yo. Send him to the dungeon, yo.
The shadow round.
Can I just clarify something? Salute to everybody in the chat, man. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me clearly?
What up, big dog?
Salute to everybody. So I just wanted to.
Who's speaking?
It's 1, 2, 3 kid. I don't know who just said that. But
that was Joanna.
Oh, Joanna. Oh, my bad. Salute to Joanna. How you doing?
Salute, sir.
So I don't have a problem with Jen at all. I just was clarifying something Joanna said from the video, which was that they didn't. Again, I'm not a fan of TLA. I just saw the episode, right? What you did was that you were being hypocritical in your approach, right? Where you were saying that people shouldn't use the N-word, but you yourself were using it, right? That was it, right? No, you could do that stuff in your head, but if you go to the video, that's what was said. So I don't hate you. I don't hate anybody. Like, hate is such a powerful word. It was just literally pointing out something that Joanna said about the comment. And it's, I'm not going to sit and say there's a pattern, but, you do seem to talk about race quite a bit, which I'm not saying is a bad or good thing. But then, you know, you had your video where you said that people kind of use it as a scab, which in some regards, I do agree with. There are people who do peddle it to make money, to whatever, for whatever reason. But on the flip side, I mean, you do have a YouTube channel that you're trying to get monetized where you have that stuff too. So you yourself are using it for gain. I mean, so again, that's a little hypocritical. I understand it's different context, but some of the same race hustlers out there that say black this, black that, you got to be a victim, which I don't agree with. I mean, you talk about them complaining, but you're complaining about the complainers. So I mean, in that sense, it's hypocritical. And you know, the whole thing about the you know, my last thing, I guess, the whole thing about the feminine thing, like, or the masculine thing, is not. I don't see you as masculine. Like, to me, masculine encompasses stoicism, which, no offense, you exhibit a lot. Like, whenever I got into like a fight or whatever, the dudes who talked a lot before they're about to fight you, I was never scared of them. Never, because I was like, all right, he's doing this stuff because you know he can't fight, and I'm taller than him, whatever. It's like, I'm gonna knock him out, body slam him. But the dudes who are stoic and they sitting back, the quiet dudes is like, nah, you don't mess with. And I never mess with, picked on people or none of that stuff. But you know, you rah, and this is the second time where I've said something and you took it way out of context to try to pitch yourself as, oh, I'm the right person, blah, blah. Because you could just read my comments. They're all right there. I didn't make up anything. I don't have nothing against you. But the whole masculine thing, just for my opinion, you know, I guess it's cool, maybe for the YouTube thing, but it's not really masculine. You're probably more feminine than anything, which is great. But, you know, I think, no offense, I think a lot of people stayed back on you. And it's not me shitting on you, you know, because they see you as an attractive woman. So they don't really come at you. Like, if you're an ugly fat woman, they'll probably be a lot more honest with you, because I think some of your takes are a little sometimes not really focused, and they're kind of all over the place. Like yesterday, it's kind of like, all right, where's this going? And not necessarily in a bad way. I actually want to know what your stance was, because you said both sides of the spectrum and it didn't make sense. You know, but all the masculine stuff, me personally, I'm not scared of you. I'll talk to you like this. I won't disrespect you. I won't say you hated me because you disagree with me, any of that stuff. So just want to clarify that up.
Okay, so let me respond. Again, I am across from another man who just will not pick up what I put down. That happens. That's life. You're calling me a hypocrite. I think you're full of shit. You were paraphrasing in the comments about TLA and the word nigga. You said it out of context. So I think you're also a hypocrite. I'm not a race hustler. There are many, many, many subjects, from race to sex to relationships, on my page. However, this is not my first rodeo. I've been called racist by one Asian person. I've had letters written into the radio station I was working by white people. White people have called me racist. Black people have called me anti-black. Latin people have called me traitor. Here's the thing. You are one man. Vic is one man. You have to understand, this isn't my life. This isn't my network. I know a myriad, a plethora of men that I get along with. My two best friends are males, okay? But they're not homosexual, and they've been my friends for over 20 years. The last thing I want to say is, some of y'all are way too much obsessed and concerned with me, to the point where every panel I'm on, you have to come on and target me. This is the girl that y'all are way too concerned. And that takes me back to the scab comment, that you don't let things go. So it's funny that you said, oh, if you were ugly, you know, people. The funny thing is that it works the opposite way too. Because I'm attractive and because I'm strong, some men take issue with that. Some men take issue with that. Now you're like, oh, I don't think you're masculine because I've argued with men and men are stoic. Well, I'm not actually a man. I said that we are both divine feminine and masculine. We all are. We all have a share of feminine and masculine. We came from a man and a woman, right? You know about chromosomes. So sometimes I am going to relate to masculinity, and sometimes I am going to relate to femininity, same as you. Okay?
Jen, 100 watts is going to go after Jen, y'all. Hold on 1 second. 100 watts is going to go. I'm going to let Jen finish. I'm going to let you finish.
Okay.
100 watts is, yo, man, you know this is your crib, bro. You're supposed to snatch the mic sometimes. But nah, you good. 100 watts. After Jen, go ahead.
Yes, so I just wanted to say, there's this narrative that these men and women, some women, don't like me trying to paint. Be clear. You don't get along with me. I don't get along with you, but you are not the totality of Jen's personality and Jen's network and Jen's life and Jen's family and Jen's friends. Y'all just some random people on YouTube that just don't like my delivery and don't like how I talk. I don't like your voice. I don't like your delivery. You sound nerdy and mouthy.
Oh,
You're not a guy that I would hang out with. You're not a guy that I would take serious. But do I have to tell you that?
Hush, stop. Let her finish. Let her finish.
I'm sorry.
Can I still get on a panel and communicate with you and debate with you and then log off and have no hard feelings? Absolutely. Me and Vic got into it. Did I log off and next time I see him on another panel, I'm gonna bring up an argument because I don't leave here seething. I don't leave here like, oh, I hate what happened on the panel. I log off. I go do my laundry. I call my dinner. I go hang out with my friends. I hang out with my daughter. I don't see you again. First of all, I didn't even know who you were. That's how much. I was like 1, 2, 3. I think there's the guy from last night. I'm not sure. Vic, I know because I've seen him more often. But I don't log off of here and come. There goes that girl again on that panel. Y'all give me much too much attention and much too much power. Too much power. I'm sorry, but there's not one woman or man on this planet where I can see them on panel after panel and continuously, there she goes again. Ain't nobody gonna have that power over you. So as a friend, I'm telling y'all, get off my dick.
Yo, I'm loving this.
Can I go now? Everybody stop. Jen, can I go now?
Let her keep going.
Can I go now, Jen? Jen, can I go now?
Please let her keep going.
Get off.
Chef, I want to go up to 100 watts.
Can I go now?
Please.
Everybody stop. Everybody stop right now. Everybody stop. Jen, are you finished?
Jesus, yes, 100 watts. I'm finished. I'm
okay. This is what I'm going to say. This is what I want to say right now to everybody on this panel and to everybody in the chat. I'm going to tell y'all that I personally feel a way that I just listen to 3 grown-ass men sit here go at it with a woman. I'm really upset with that because there's so many panels that do this. There's so many panels that do this shit, and I don't like what the fuck is going on right now. I really don't.
Thank you.
I'm not liking this. Because if somebody decides to click this and sit here talk about
calm down for a second, bro.
Vic and Chef is over here building, I'm not liking this. I appreciate you guys and your opinions and what you guys bring constructively to the conversations that we have. If y'all are not doing it, I need y'all to hop off. Because sitting up here trying to tell Jen about how she need to be Jen, she not listening to none of y'all. So these conversations are mute as fuck.
What are you mad? What are you mad? The person with nobody yelling at her, what? And with nobody going at her, we having an open dialogue and debate. She's an equal partner.
Let him rock.
We're not gonna mute her.
Let him cook.
Stop and talk about Jen and how she talking to other niggas on another platform.
Jen stopped and addressed the chat. We was having a whole conversation. Now this whole shit turned into about Jen, but it was cool because it's good TV. So we let her roll and explain herself because that's what we do on this panel is let people explain their full thoughts instead of cutting them off. She got her shit off. She stood in her ground. She's capable of it. She don't need nobody to save her, as she said.
So I just wanted to express my opinion. If y'all don't agree with it, that's cool.
Chef, can I speak after 100 watts, please?
I wanted to know why you were
I wanted to make sure that my opinion was heard because I haven't said much of anything this entire time that everybody's been.
Hey, hold up, Truth.
So please continue.
Hold up, Truth. We on Watts right now. Watts. I want to know where's your source of anger because that seemed like it was genuine. So why were you disturbed? You said by 3 men coming at. I don't know the exact verbiage you used.
Would you agree or disagree with me that we were having a very productive conversation?
I agree.
What did we just do? I've sat here and watched this clock. 28 minutes. What were we just doing for the last 28 minutes, my man?
Do you not acknowledge the fact that Jen took the moment to say that she wanted to, excuse me, everybody, I want to address 1, 2, 3 kid in the chat. Do you not address that we just allowed that to rock? Ain't nobody shut it down? That's why 1, 2, 3 kid is up here clarifying this point.
Vic, what you said is very true. What you said is very true. I just wanted to express what I felt like transpired with the last 28 minutes. If you guys don't agree, that's perfectly fine. That's cool. I just wanted to make sure because again, let me finish. Because again, I sit here quiet most of the time. The chat be sitting here making jokes, thinking I'm sleeping, all this other shit, because I'm over here high. I don't say much of anything. I let everybody rock.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But my dude, she's the one that stopped the conversation.
Hold on, 1, 2, 3.
Cool. I just wanted to express my opinion. I'm going back on mute. Y'all can continue.
That's fine.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Everybody chill for a second. Everybody chill for a second. Because I just want to make something clear. So, one thing on their watch. Your opinion is important, right? We work together. We do this thing. Here's what I'm going to say about this. I've been known to jump into the middle of a lot of stuff. I've been known to jump into the middle of a lot of stuff, bro. When I look at Jen, yes, beautiful woman, the whole 9, all right? But I see less of that and more of warrior princess.
Facts.
Okay? Here's one thing I noticed. Just hear me out, bro. I understand chivalry and politeness and all of that. We in the middle of the battleground. And Jen suits up and she jumps in this piece. You understand what I'm saying? She jumps in this piece. If you notice any of the previous things where there was verbal kerfuffles that were going on, where Jen was involved, and then somebody jumped to the fence, you're like, yo, leave me alone. Let me talk, yo. I don't need your shit. I got this. The energy that I get from her, because obviously she's a guest on the panel. Obviously we work together as well. She's like, yo, I got this. And that's, so when I see it, I don't see it as men attacking her. I see it as Jen recognizing that she has strong opinions. You get what I'm saying? Now watch this. Here's the best way I could say. There was conversations, when he came in, he didn't want to have. Right? There were certain conversations, did not want to have because of the fact that he knew it potentially may have rubbed people the wrong way. Jen is the antithesis of that. Jen is like, fuck it, come on, let's go. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it. And I repeat it for you. Slower. Let's go. So, as I'm sitting here, because this is still part of the garden, I'm not going to allow somebody to be harmed. You get what I'm saying? Or disrespected. Harmed or disrespected. And I'm not calling you a dude or saying masculine energy, Jenny. All I'm saying is that the way I looked at her, it's a situation, I don't see her attack. She's jumping in. What's that girl's name? Oh man, the MMA fighter, the one that went to fight the dude. Was it Rousey? Ronda Rousey?
Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
Yo, that's what I see. Like she's like, come on, bring it. All right, yeah, I'll fight 2 of you at the same time. But it's still debate, still, bro. And the thing is, I believe, and when I say she's an actress, it's not saying she's inauthentic. She's an actress. One of the first things they teach you in acting is the pantomimes. You understand what I'm saying? The way you flex your face, the way you use intonation, pauses for effect, dramatic effect, all kind of things. There was a word we put up there called hyperbole as well. Sometimes, in order to bring the real conversation out of pocket, sometimes you got to say something out of pocket. And I believe that she's very skilled at this thing. So I don't believe, and she can tell me if I'm wrong, I don't know if I believe she was being attacked. I think she was annoyed with something that she considered some BS. And she was like, yo, I'm gonna call you on it. I'm here. I'm gonna call you on it. It's some New York chick stuff. You get what I'm saying? That's what I took it as. So maybe
Can I speak, Chef?
Jen, you better not do that.
I'm gonna let you speak, Joanna. I just want to make sure because I just spoke on somebody, and I just spoke on someone. Hold on a second. I spoke on someone, and I just want to make sure that they can clarify if I was correct or not.
Chef, you've always had me pretty much down from the beginning of us working together and being on these panels. Like, you get it. Like you were exactly correct. Now, I didn't feel attacked because as fucked up as this sounds, and I don't care who it makes feel uncomfortable, I'm not intimidated by any of these men. This is not my first rodeo. YouTube isn't the first time in life where I rubbed men the wrong way because I was outspoken and didn't back down. This is just par for the course, right? So I'm not intimidated by any of these dudes. So I didn't feel necessarily attacked. Now, you know, like 100 Watt said, and like Mr. O spoke about, well, we didn't speak about it publicly. We spoke about it behind the scenes, but I am annoyed by a certain type of man. I am annoyed because I expect men to be completely masculine. I grew up in a house with a strong father. He was strong and silent. My father was not arguing with women or questioning women. So that is the blueprint in my life. I expect men, even when they disagree, yeah, okay, shorty. Why? Because men are stronger, bigger, some are smarter, and they're like, I'm not going to go down there and argue with you. You're a woman. Go argue with your sister. Go argue with your mother. So yes, I'm very easily annoyed by men who are here, right? Going back and forth. And because I have this quote unquote masculine energy, it's like, dude, really? We doing this? For real, for real? Like, get off me already. It makes me feel like automatically I become more masculine than you. And then I start relating to how men feel when women are constantly me. So yes, it is annoying to me. Like, get off me. Go argue with your sister. Get off me already. Why are you on me? So yes, it's annoying. Like, and I'm saying this honestly. No one on YouTube, no one on this planet could have me this obsessed with them. And I don't think 123 attacked me, but he was in the comments. Yeah, she said this on TLA. So I have to agree with 100 Watts. Why are you talking about TLA over here? Why are we still talking about this dude? Right?
Can I talk? Because she talked.
I want to say something.
Can I just say something?
I get out the way if I can say
please,
this.
Can I just clarify? Please.
Hey, hold on, Mr. O had to say the same. Mr. O had to say.
I do have a chicken sandwich on the way, so I can't stay much longer. But Mr. O wanted to say something.
Yeah, real quick, man. Like,
hold up, truth.
I'm not saying that, yo. Chill.
No, it's your mic.
It's like men. You got this woman that's in conversations with grown men, and she ain't running from nothing. She has this energy where she gonna stay. She gonna stand in the paint and she gonna deliver. But although we may not be offending her like that, we are antagonizing with with like bringing up certain things, and you don't go back and forth with no woman. I hear women say all the time, "You can't check me. You can't." They talking, man. Like a woman, to get her to cooperate, we in control of the conversation. We're always in control. So her emotion is going to be provoked, and I expect a woman in a conversation with a man, when she's provoked, to get emotional. So the laugh that she will get emotional is like after she was antagonized on that show, she had emotional outbursts and calling him a bitch ass, whatever. And now she get off my dick. Like, she gonna stand in the paint, but you are antagonizing a woman instead of in control of the conversation, because I can control her emotion. I'm not gonna tell her I'm a checker, but I'm definitely gonna be in control of her emotions if she's engaged in a conversation with me, for sure. Because you gotta have a sense of that. It's a way that you deliver a message when you're talking to a woman, and to get the point across without antagonizing her on points. Women get emotional. Newsflash.
So can I just say something real quick? That's all.
You know what? Do you want to see an example of when Mr. was talking about? Go see our debate, okay, on my last stream. Go see our debate.
So can I just say something?
So y'all debated. You argued with a woman. How did that debate go if you ain't did no arguing?
You're not going back and forth with a woman.
No, I'm not going back and forth. But
debating points. That's all we're doing is debating points.
Everybody that's talking to her is literally, at least on me, not even. All I did was clarify, because she said something on TLA, and I said, well, that wasn't why they got mad, and that was more so on the racing. How did you being a woman? It could have been Chef who said it. I was gonna say the same thing. Well, you said such and such. That's why they got mad. There was a hypocrisy in it.
There was no hypocrisy.
Well, Catherine, I'll let you finish.
What? No hypocrisy. I explained why. But you're not going to take it out of context. You're not going to say something I said that I didn't say.
Hey, disagree with him after he finished saying it. Get all of the points so you can chop them all up.
I'm not going to allow it. What you
Ma'am,
did is
all I said was that the reason why I'm not even, ma'am,
you ran with
I let
TLA's
you,
hypocrisy. That's
man,
what you did.
I'm not, ma'am,
You're
I'm
not
not
being genuine.
Hey, 1, 2, 3, don't say
You're not
nothing.
being
1, 2, 3,
genuine.
don't say
You
nothing.
want to argue with me,
But that's
sis?
the whole thing. I haven't.
1, 2, 3, don't say
You're
nothing.
not being genuine. You were not being genuine. You ran with TLA's talking point. You were not being genuine. I said why I called him a bitch ass nigga, and then I also explained why I don't use the word nigga anymore.
But
okay?
man,
Chef, may I speak?
Talking
no,
point.
I'm literally trying to. She won't let.
We gotta, Joanna. We gotta, because literally this is something that the two of them are resolving right now, Joanna. I just want to make sure that before I let them have
Okay,
to leave,
don't forget about me, Chef.
I'm not. You here? You on the screen, Mama? I got you.
All I want to say was that.
So I'm just saying, keep it all the way real. Keep it all the way real.
Okay, I'm keeping all the way real. Literally, all they were saying was that you can't tell people not to use the word, and you agreed and said, okay, so you yourself are not being genuine. You can go back to the stream and check it out. You agreed. I'm not agreeing with how they kicked you off, whatever. I'm not talking about any of that. All I did was clarify a point. You stopped the conversation and talked about something I said in the chat, and it wasn't even attacking you. It was just clarifying something on a race. One, I don't follow you like that. The only time when what's this guy's name? Conversation with King said, yo, go follow Jen's page. All right, I went to your page and I checked out stuff. Oh, she's on here, she's blah blah. It wasn't to follow you. I'm not thinking about you at that. Even in this
I don't even know who you are. I don't even.
You don't have to know. I don't want you to know who I am. I'm not trying to be special. But it's weird. Okay, man, you gotta let people speak. I let you speak.
But I don't know y'all. When you say, "Oh, I went to your page," I'm not following.
Because bro, you're not. It's not even a bad thing. Conversation said, "Yo, go check her out." After I gave him a super chat, she said, "Go check out her channel." So I did that. I'm going off of the back of somebody who's actually supporting you, but you're talking and not getting it. So that's why I looked you up. I'm not researching. I'm not looking. I was like, oh, okay, she has a video here. Oh, that's her video. Oh, okay, that's her. That's her channel. That's her platform. Two, I'm not attacking you whatsoever. You're the one talking about my nerdy, and I know I haven't. That's perfectly fine. I didn't say anything else about you. I didn't make any ad hominem attacks. None of that. Three, you literally are talking about masculine energy, but when I brought it up, you said, "Oh, I'm not a man." Everybody's laughing. It's like you're using it again. So again, some of your thoughts are kind of unfocused.
I didn't say
you go back and forth and forth. My last point. Let me just say this about the whole flowers thing, whatever. Right? I will never call you out name. I'm not calling you this, blah blah. Right? If you want to have conversations, all this stuff about you got to protect women, blah blah. If you're having conversations,
I've never said that.
I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you, man. Please.
Okay, so then why are you bringing that up?
No, because on this, because
hey,
on this
if you allow him to finish,
panel,
Jen, this will be a lot faster. Thanks.
Okay. Real quick. I'll be out to this. On this panel, it seems like, yo, if you're trying to have a conversation with a woman, like how I understand about films and that stuff, right? But if I'm having a conversation with you, I'm not pointing out your name. I'm asking you things. I think it's a little unfair to say, oh, the feelings and insulting. It's like, no, I'm treating her like an equal or whatever. Them like an equal. I'm trying to get your point of view. I don't understand it. Now, the way I'm coming at you is not, you're a B or something like blah, blah. It's just me asking you, but I'm going to be blunt about it. But if you're saying, oh, you got to talk to women a certain way, well, it's like, well, now you're making them like a child. Like they can't handle certain topics without being coddled. And like, oh, babied along. Like, nah, I'm just having a conversation. Like yesterday, everything blew up, right? When I literally asked, okay, what is your point? Because you're on one spectrum and the other. I don't know your point. All of a sudden it's rah, rah, rah. You got, it's like, nah, I'm just trying to get your point of view. So that's it. I don't have nothing against you. I won't say nothing else about you in the chat. All I was trying to do is clarify one comment on race. And you took it to a whole, you're the one that stopped the conversation you guys are having. And to a whole nother level.
Okay, so let me respond to that. And I got some food coming. You keep harping on this hypocrisy. You're a hypocrite. That's why people are mad. I really hope people aren't mad at me. I'm not helping them make no money. I ain't fucking them. I really hope people are not mad because of my hypocrisy, right? But let's say they are. Let's say they're hell-bent on, I said don't use the word nigga, but I said bitch ass nigga. Let's say that's hypocrisy, right? It is no different than having an argument with, let's say a man has an argument with a woman and it gets really heated. And he says, you know what, bitch? Get out my face. Now, that man may still believe it is not right to use the word bitch. But in that heated argument, because he was reciprocating energy, he said, you know what? Get out my face, bitch. That man can still very much believe that women should not be called out their names. That is what happened on TLA. Since people are so torn and so hurt by what I said and wondering why, they just want to understand what it was that I said, because I hear that a lot on these panels. We just want to understand what you said, Jen. We just want to understand. For some reason, my voice is so powerful and it's such an issue in their life. So let me explain yet again. I can feel, think, believe, and stop using the word nigga because I felt like it. I don't like the word. I don't like the word in hip hop. I don't like the word as a term of endearment. I don't like it at all. That does not mean that when I'm across a bitch ass nigga, I may slip and call him a bitch ass nigga. Does that help you? Did that explain my hypocrisy? I hope you feel better. Whoever was in the chat who has a problem with it, I hope you feel better. But I will end with this. Y'all are much too much concerned with me. It is annoying. And also, some people and I will never mix. Their delivery and my delivery will never mix. You're one of them. Vic is another one. Some people I will never mix with. Some of them are men, some of them are white, some of them are black, some of them are women, some of them are Puerto Rican. We will never mix. The problem is that it seems like y'all not okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay that you and I will never mix.
You can't stand up and defend your points when they getting chopped down and ain't nobody yelling at you, chopping you off, calling you out your name. Then you just losing the conversation and you're a sore loser. So you start cursing and acting out of your head and talking over people and saying weird shit that people don't like, revealing more of yourself. So you're looking real foolish out here, even though your pride won't let you.
We can keep talking over each other. We can keep talking over each other. We can keep talking over each other if you like.
You're a prideful young lady. That's all.
Hey, yo, can I get in?
Live your life. You good? Ain't nobody even talking no more.
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't give a fuck about y'all past today, and you will see.
Joanna goes and then Rashad.
Again, when you see my face,
I'm trying to validate some bullshit.
I'm not gonna bring up anything because I don't give a fuck about him past when I log off, and I'm not gonna bring up anything 1, 2, 3 said because I don't give.
Why should I give a fuck about you now if you don't care about me?
You're here at 2 a.m., man. You're here at 2 a.m. So you do care.
It's all entertainment. Do you let you tell it?
Can we not bring up this argument next time you see me?
That's fine. I'm not gonna, man. There's nothing to argue about.
Okay,
you literally just said you literally validated being a hypocrite. If I kill somebody, if I advocate for somebody,
let her time out, guys. Come on, man.
And you're a hypocrite.
It's fine.
Because you keep saying that you don't have a problem with me, but here we are arguing. You're arguing with me.
You have a chicken sandwich, right?
You're arguing with me.
No, I'm waiting for you to go.
Get off.
Okay. All right, man. You got it. Chicken sandwich?
Like, get off. It's annoying. Get off. I'm not on any of you like that ever.
This is somebody who doesn't care. For somebody who doesn't care.
She triggered, bro. Let her trigger off.
I'm not even mad at her. It's fine.
Me and Vic had a disagreement. What was that last night? I wasn't thinking about that shit today. Me and him were communicating just fine. I don't leave off. Oh my God, that argument I have. I don't give a fuck about these people. After
you still talk about TLA and all these other people that no one's even mentioning.
Come on, 1, 2, 3.
Like stop. It's corny, dude. It's just straight up corny. Next panel you see me on, can we not bring up this argument? Can we move on to the next debate?
Man, as long as you're focused, I won't bring up any. Like you just have unfocused.
No, you were in the chat.
Hey, 1, 2, 3.
You were
on
in
some
the
man
chat.
shit. We just gonna let that shit die, bro.
Your hair looks amazing, Jen. Your hair looks amazing.
You were chatting.
Got it.
I love the color blue. That's my favorite color. Your hair looks amazing.
Wait, I just have one question. I just have one question.
Remember, Joanna's supposed to go. Remember, Joanna, she's been sitting trying to go.
Yes.
So if Joanna wants to concede her time to you, Tristan, that's on her. But
no, Miss
I'll concede my time, Chef.
No, that's not right. That's not right, Miss Joanna. You go. I can wait.
Salute to Jen.
No, brother. I trust that Chef. We've had Chef. Your longest time was like 8 or 9 hours. I trust that I'll get my time. I concede my time to the gentleman.
Okay, it's only gonna be like 10 seconds. Like Mr. O, I just need that skincare routine you got. That's all I needed. That's really why I came up here.
I got
That's
you.
all I
I
needed.
got you.
I don't know what's going on over here,
Yeah,
buddy.
we gonna exfoliate.
I'm sorry, Jen. You know I
Yeah.
can't control the joking. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It had to come out.
Yeah,
But that's what I really came up here for. I need that skincare
you got
routine.
to get you one of those automatic brushes too. Got to get you one of those.
See
You
what I'm
need some
talking about?
yeah, you need some serum for your face, vitamin
But
serum.
this isn't men that I have these issues with. This isn't my tribe. These aren't the men I communicate with. These aren't the men I hang with. These aren't the men I date. That's why it doesn't bother me past when I log off. I don't do these type of men. I don't have these arguments with other men. So this is just here. What I would like respectfully is just get off. When you see me on another panel, can we TLA? Can we not? I don't care what you're thinking. She was a hypocrite 3 panels ago. Keep it to yourself, because I'm not in the chats chatting about y'all. Even if I don't like you, I'm not in the chats talking about Vic. I'm not in the chats talking about 1, 2, 3. I'm not chatting about y'all ever. I can see you on a panel tomorrow, 1, 2, 3, and we could be talking about Jordans, and I'll talk to you about Jordans and not even think about tonight. Same thing with Vic. I'm not chatting about y'all like this.
Ain't nobody chatting about you. I don't know. I can only speak for me. So when you keep saying y'all, it seems like you're talking to me.
Well, you brought up yesterday today. You brought up yesterday today.
Hey, listen, I'm done with it.
All right, so let's see what's up with Joanna. You've been asking to speak for a minute.
Thank you, Chef. Chef, I owe you an apology. I was the one who brought up all that ish about TLA, and I was just so disappointed in him that in the heat of the conversation about race and colorism, it just flowed with me to bring that to mind. And what was coming to mind, if you're in the sound of my voice, hear me on this, and it's going to be maybe 2, maybe 3 pronged. I don't like the N word, although yes, I will use the N word for emphasis. I don't like the N word particularly because of how jarring it is for our people. It smacks of Chef, when we were having that conversation with E Black the other night, I don't know if it was 2 nights ago, 2 mornings ago, and the brothers were going on about how much power he was giving up to Darrell by not ignoring Darrell about his wife. Do you remember that, Chef?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I see the same argument with that word. We give up so much power. We get so emotional about that word. That's the reason why I don't particularly like the word. Now, there's another reason, because I said it was 2, maybe 3 pronged. The first one is because of how jarring it is. If anyone wanted to make us cry, all they would have to do is say that word. Make a grown man come up out of his skin. Make a grown man want to fight. Make a grown man argue. Make a grown man want to burn something down or loot.